Hi guys, Explode here, and I am finally back. I'm not even going to bother apologising for not uploading this night, and if the audio doesn't sound too good, it's because my mic isn't working, so I'm having to use the built-in one on my laptop. Anyway, this will be a video about my predictions for the Barclays Premier League. Currently there have been 4 games played, although this might get uploaded a few days late, which means like the Chelsea-Everton game could be playing and stuff, like the 5th game could be. I don't know. It depends when I upload. But I don't know what the results are. And hopefully we beat Liverpool. I don't know if we have, or if we will. Obviously we haven't yet. We did last time. Anyway, that's not the point. Let's begin. To the team who I think are going to become 20th. It is none other than Bournemouth. Now, what makes this even more degrading on Bournemouth is the first 12 teams. I started from the top and thought this is the best team, this is the next best team, so on. Got down to the, couldn't really work out who the 13th best team was, so I decided to go from the bottom up and go for the worst. So Bournemouth, it's not that everyone else is good, it's that you really suck. Although this is, I'm kind of disappointed to say it because they do play a nice style of football. I would like it if the Bournemouth manager went to Stoke at the end of the season, because they play really crappy football, along with Wilson, and it's just brought it over there. It'd be nice. Anyway, moving on. Sunderland, second to last, 19th. I think these guys, they've had a horrible start. They didn't go good last time. They got very close to relegation. I think if QPR had actually done a bit better, like if their defence hadn't been so bad, they could have stayed up and Sunderland would have gone down. I think they would have been the ones to join them. Alright, so moving. Also, they haven't really done a whole lot in the transfer window. So moving on, Watford will be just missing out on survival, which will be quite disappointing from them after winning the championship. But the Premier League just has so much money in it, it's very difficult right now for new teams to come in. So the team that'll just be scraping out, in my opinion, is Aston Villa. These guys, they sold Delph, well, he left, they didn't know, and they sold Benteke. They didn't really buy anyone to fill the voids, not anyone as good. And Benteke was really their only good striker. They're going to need to spend that nice amount of money they got from on a new striker. Obviously, they don't know what's going to happen in January, so they could sign someone amazing and then get a solid mid-table, but I think they're just gonna survive. I would say that Watford probably have a bit of a better team than them right now, but I think Aston Villa just have that determination to remain as they've never been in any other league but the Premier League. Next up, Norwich. These guys, they've been in the Prem for a while. They came back up first time of asking. I think they know what it takes to stay up. They're gonna do it. Next we have West Brom. These guys don't look anywhere near as strong as last season. Berahino doesn't really want to play for them. He's probably going to leave in January. Although these are based on the teams, how they currently stand, I just don't think it's going to work for them. They're not going to do that well. They are going to be right down there in 15th and 14th. It is Newcastle United. These guys didn't do very well last season, only escaping relegation in the last game. They'll do a bit better, but they're just, without Alan Pardew, they're not doing that great. So next we have Leicester. These guys, they are doing incredibly right now. They are in top 4, they are unbeaten, they drew with Spurs. It's obviously not going to last, but who knows, they could. But I think they're still going to do pretty well. Next we have West Ham. Now these guys, they've made some good transfers. They've bought in players like Payet, but I don't think they've got enough to go into this challenging for Europe spots like they look like they're going to do at the start of last season. Yeah, moving on, we've got Crystal Palace in 11th. Now, last season they finished 10th. This time I think Everton will be back in and they'll be above them, dropping them down a place. Meaning that they won't be able to do as well. They'll probably do pretty badly at the start and then have to sack their manager like they've done the last seasons. Although they haven't been doing that so far, they are in the top 4. And moving on to 10th place, we've got Stoke. Now they had their best ever season last season, highest place ever for them, and I don't think they can quite repeat that, but I think they can do something similar. They got 9th last season, they're going to drop down 1 to 10th. Moving on, Southampton. These guys were incredible. They got 7th place. They looked like at the beginning that they were going to finish top 4 or at least Europa League. Didn't really happen. Dropped out. They did still get Europa League, but now they've sold Schneiderlin, they've sold Klein, and they just haven't looked the team that they were last season. So, but I do think they're going to pick it up a bit, unlike what they're doing right now. Moving along, we've got Everton, which is quite interesting. Many people might say that they'd go a bit higher. I think they will recover a lot from last season, but they're not going to be getting those Europa League spots, challenging for top 4 like they did in Roberto Martinez's first season. Next up, in 7th, we have Swansea. This is probably my most controversial one, putting Swansea so high. But I think they have really looked good. They've got a fair bit of money after selling like Bonnie and stuff. But they don't really need to spend it because Gomi has stepped in and he's completely replaced him. They don't need a new striker. I've done things like beating Man United for the 4th time in a row, 2-1. That scoreline haunts me. And yeah, it's just that I feel like they're gonna do well. Moving along to the first Europa League spot, well, the last in a one way. 6th place, it is Spurs, just like last season. Actually, no, they got 5th last season. Yeah, Liverpool. These guys, they just haven't really improved their squad. People have been praising them for selling players like Soldado. Spurs fans are cheering he's finally gone and stuff. But these are the players that were brought in to replace Bale, and you had all that money, $80 million or pounds, and then you spend it on 6 players to replace him, and then you've got to sell some of them for half the amount. That's not good business. Bale was carrying the team, getting them top 4. They also sold Modric, and now it's just not working. When Harry Kane doesn't score, the team doesn't score. That's it. And it looks likely that Harry Kane might leave to a bigger club to get Champions League, which he deserves. Although he might be a one-season wonder because he hasn't scored a single goal this season yet. I mean, sure, it's only been 4 games, maybe 5 when you see this. Maybe he scored 10 goals. This game, I don't even know who Spurs playing. Against someone. Yeah. Moving along, we have Liverpool. They have bought a lot of players again. Most notably Benteke. They desperately needed a striker. Sturridge is good, but he is injured 90% of the season. Everyone else is useless. They also brought in Milner, which will help with their injuries because he can play anywhere, as well as some other players. They've drastically improved, but the top 4 teams have improved their team so much, besides Chelsea, which don't need to, because they just smashed the league last time. So yeah, Liverpool 5th. Quite a big gap between them and the top 4, I predict. Next on our list, 4th is Arsenal. 4th is Arsenal. If they brought a striker, I would probably predict them going higher up, 2nd or 3rd. But they didn't. All they brought was Sheik, who is a massive improvement for them. But the point is, he was 2nd choice for Chelsea, and the rest of Chelsea's team is arguably still better than Arsenal's. They can't expect them to challenge for the league with just Sheik, because he's like the 3rd or even 4th best keeper in the league, depending on how highly you rate Lloris. I mean, it's just they're not going to do better than 4th unless they sign someone good in January. Alright, in 3rd we have Chelsea. Now, Chelsea, they have had quite a terrible start, as everyone can see. I do believe that they'll pick up, but I don't think they'll be really challenging for the title or smashing it like they did last season. I basically 99% sure that trophy is going to Manchester. Which one I'm not going to say yet, but at least that's the good news. The bad news is where it's going to be, because I'm 70% sure it's going to be about this way round. United 2nd, and then obviously City 1st. City have dominated the league this season. I'm not going to bother talking about United at the moment because everyone knows City. So they dominated the league. They haven't conceded a single goal. They've just won every single game. They have been incredible. De Bruyne hasn't played yet. Otamendi hasn't played yet. That's their team has not conceded a goal. Won all their games. Has a plus 10 or something, isn't it? I don't even. A lot of goal difference, and they have these 2 world-class players ready to make their debuts. That's ridiculous. So they are going to breeze through the league, similar to what Chelsea did last season. United 2nd, because I think we do have a good team. We've got some incredible midfielders. If Rooney gets injured, then we've got players like Marshall, and we still have stuff up front. And then De Gea's back. He signed a 4-year contract. Thank goodness, it was the best news of the day. Oh man, greatest thing ever. And yeah, so we'll have De Gea, just like last season. We'll drastically improved our team. De Gea might go in January, then we'll have lots of money. We'll bring in Lloris. Then Spurs will drop down further. Swansea Everton will take that spot. So these have been my predictions. That's mostly it. If you want me to make a video about who's going to win things like the Bundesliga and Champions League, FA Cup, whatever, leave them in the comments. If you want me to do an updated version in the after January, see what I've changed, leave that again. Comment whether you like me doing more real life stuff, and that's about it. So see ya.